Welcome to Six Figs, and I've got a very special video for you guys today. We've got the KongSwap team here, and they have been absolutely lighting the entire ecosystem on fire with all of their advancements, their prediction markets, and just everything they've been doing. So I thought it would be great to have them on. So thanks, guys, for joining me today. And like I said, you guys have been absolutely killing it. You guys have extreme growth curve happening right now. We're seeing these prediction markets hit. We're seeing all these connections to like Solana and things like that. So like, what do you guys have going on right now that you want people to know about?
I think the main thing is actually like this native cross-chain swaps. So like you said, the Solana thing. So we worked like really hard for the last 2 months to ship this, and I think it's like a pretty unique feature in all of crypto. So what this basically does is it creates a liquidity pool that lives on both chains. So you have ICP based Solana pool, and when you swap, you're basically swapping on 2 chains. And you're able to swap directly via our Canister smart contract. And we're going to give you like 5 seconds cross-chain swaps with Solana. So you will, use your Phantom wallet, your login. You want to buy something on the IC, some token you like. Hey, here you go, bam, 5 seconds, it's yours. Or you like trading on the IC, you like a Solana coin, so there's like a new Trump or whatever meme coin coming out. You want to spend some of that ICP on it, boom, just buy it in 5 seconds, it's yours.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, I think at this point in the game, everybody is just over, it's a pain in the butt to try to like bridge tokens from ecosystem to ecosystem. And really the fact that you guys can do this in 5 seconds is pretty dang impressive. I feel like whenever I've had to bridge stuff from like Ethereum to Base, for example, or vice versa, you're paying gas fees twice. It's just 1-2 extra steps that you got to take to actually get to where you want. So to click a button 5 seconds later, you're there. I mean, yeah, that's huge.
We just decided to burn all the bridges,
I like it.
Yeah. So I mean, like really, that makes bridging obsolete because you're able to natively swap within like one pool. So imagine like you have something like a Uniswap that's able to trade across different chains without having to do exactly what you said and going from one wallet, waiting for another wallet, etc. You're just going to use the wallet you like and do anything you want. So any ecosystem, etc.
Yeah. I also want to add on top of the bridge effect, I think that's something that a lot of people, are still even kind of overlooking. I'm sure, both of you, especially you, Kyle, we're always bridging and stuff, bridging from Base to Solana, Base to Ethereum to SUI, all these kind of things. Yeah. And some of these bridges, not only like you have to pay, it's not even like the gas fee. It's like the gas fee is one thing. Okay. On Ethereum, like the gas fees suck. But on SUI and Solana, they're very little. So it's whatever. And then you also have the token in there, which is kind of annoying, but it's the time that is a big thing. Like I forget which bridges, but I think when you're bridging from Base to Ethereum or Ethereum to Base, it's like a 20-minute wait. I know for Ethereum to SUI, it's a 20-minute wait. Like, nobody's trying to wait 20 minutes. At the end of the day, the users, what they really want is they want to be able to trade their coins as fast as possible and with as little steps as possible. So when you take away the bridge and it's bridgeless, you don't have to go through those extra, paying the gas fees and also waiting 20 minutes and having to click a bunch of buttons and learning how to, it's pretty easy. Phantom's made it like pretty easy to bridge and everything, but I've even had a situation where I had to go in the Discord for one of the bridges. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was, I don't think it was Mayan. It might've been Mayan. It might've been another bridge, but I've had a situation before where my tokens actually got stuck or something in the bridge and I had to go in the Discord and go text them and get my coins. Everything ended up being resolved, but you want as little as steps as possible. And for Kong, we're trying to have the most premium and best user experience where people are able to get on and do things as quickly and as easily as possible.
Yeah, and when you got bridges and tokens getting stuck, let's just be real here, that's not a way to onboard the masses. So when you nip that in the bud on the front end and users don't even have to deal with those types of problems, you're looking at a greater chance at onboarding them for the long term, because the user experience is so great. So yeah.
I also wanted to add, like, I think we're heading towards a place in crypto where we've kind of seen this already, this cycle really take place, but like nobody really cares what chain they're trading on necessarily. They kind of just want to be where the volume is, et cetera. Yeah. But it's not like people legitimately have that strong. Of course, there's maximalists of each chain, but there's most people, the general trader base does not care what chain they're trading on. They're just trying to make money and have an easy experience. And I think that's a big thing. We're starting to, kind of even see it now where people, Solana's kind of been the dominant chain this cycle. And now even Solana starting, Sui starting to come in market share, and even Ethereum's kind of starting to make a comeback. So it's like people really just want to make money and have fun and, have an easy experience. They don't really care where they're trading.
Yeah. And if you can tap into all that volume and liquidity from like KongSwap, for example, without having to do all that legwork that we just mentioned, like that is an A+ experience. Because as much as I love trading on the IC and things like that, we don't have that volume that Solana does. And to have a DEX or an app like KongSwap come in and solve that issue by connecting to these high volume, high usage networks, seamlessly. This is where things get like exciting and fun for a chain like ICP right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So you guys have been absolutely cooking with the prediction markets and things like that. So tell me a little bit about the prediction markets and how that all works for those people that don't know.
Yeah. So currently it's basically you have, a future event where people that have, sort of kind of predict the outcome for it. So that was just the basic version. You have like a pot-based system where everybody places their predictions and it becomes a pot. And then once resolved, it's like winner takes the pot. It was a very straightforward system, kind of people like it, but it could be gamed. So what we saw, a lot of the users were just basically cheesing it, waiting till the last minute to place their predictions. And that kind of took the air out of it a bit. And then we just decided to make it more fun and competitive. So we kind of took the reins off of it a bit. So what we'll have in version 2 is we'll have time-weighted prediction markets. So it means that whenever you place a bet, you will receive a much higher reward if you do a prediction early. So sort of like the time decay that we have implemented now gives you almost like a 2x on your funds if you place a prediction at the start of the market versus waiting till expiry. Mm-hmm. So if you basically place a bet close to expiration, it will be maybe like a 1 to 2% return, or if you place it at the beginning, you can get like 100%. So that's like the one major difference in the mechanic, which should make it more fair for everybody. So basically, if you do have this vision of where it will end, and can go there early, then you will be rewarded. And then the second big feature is, we'll let anybody basically create markets. So any user will be able to create a market they want. So we also have a lot of people on Twitter or different socials saying, hey, why don't you create this market? Why don't you create that market? So now we're just going to let anybody create any market they want. That's the second big thing. And the third one is that we're adding more tokens to it, so not just Kong. So besides Kong, now there's going to be like BTC, ETH, ICP. I think we're going to have dragons.
Gold out.
Gold out.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I aped that pre-sale. Or that SNS launch for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be like, it's going to have more features, more flavor. We'll keep expanding it in the future, but I think it's going to make it like a bit more fun for everyone and a bit more engaging.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if the users can create their own prediction markets. I mean, let's face it, like setting up an application like that, it takes time, effort, and a lot of know-how, developers. And when you just allow the users to basically have the keys to setting up a prediction market. This is going to be pretty wild, in my opinion. And you think about like all these people, like every time you go into the bar, at least here in like Minnesota, you know, small hick town USA, there's sports bookies, everything sitting at the bar. And you got to think about like that industry is absolutely huge. When these people start figuring out how easy it is to expand their reach through your application, you know, there could be some very positive momentum for the prediction markets. I feel like there's just so many good use cases for it that it'll be a lot of fun to see how that takes.
Yeah. 100%. And it's if you take a look at the, you know, stats, you brought up sports gambling, and I think, you know, whether you agree with it or not, if you take a look at the usage of sports gambling, it's just up into the right corner. And gambling as well. So I'm not trying to say the prediction market is gambling, it's betting. But those type of things are just up into the right corner in terms of more people using like DraftKings and a lot of these big sports bookies. They are raking in tons of money, and it's only continuing to go vertical. And I think prediction markets are something that really got mainstream in the past couple of years. I even remember like back in, you know, Polymarket was that's built on Ethereum, is the one that kind of mainstreamed what is it called? Prediction markets. And they were one of the first platforms to really make it into the mainstream in general. Like they get put on Fox News and CNN, not like they have really any pull any days, but they were the first application from crypto, in my opinion, to kind of, you know, make it to the masses where people look at it and they're not even thinking about, oh, is it built on Ethereum or Polygon or whatever chain it's built on. And a ton of people use it. We know it's a big hit and everything. So I think adding this component where people are able to create their own prediction markets is going to be absolutely huge. And once again, you know, when we first initially launched our prediction markets, we saw, you know, there was demand, like people loved it. And I think prediction markets as a whole are a kind of a thing that are continued, just like sports books, to continue to go up and right into the corner in terms of popularity and usage. So yeah,
absolutely. And you know, sports books, they've got their own communities, just like, you know, we do on X or YouTube or TikTok. So, you know, there'll just be all these little splinter cells of you know, usage for these books and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, one of my favorite things to do is sports betting. I love betting on fights, especially, you know, UFC fights, boxing, horse racing. I love. My sister raced horses for a long time, so I love betting on horse racing. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great addition to KongSwap, and it's really slowly kind of becoming this exchange that has everything under one roof. We got the great exchange, the best exchange, in my opinion, on the IC. It just works all the time. And, you know, you start adding all these little features, and this thing's going to be very built out very nicely, you know, over the next few years, just based off what I've observed so far. So, I mean, you guys are absolutely cool.
And we also have a lot of projects that are right now integrating with our backend, right? So, I mean, like, because KongSwap is completely permissionless, and, you know, our backend is basically like the API, and anybody can just come in and, you know, connect to our swaps or connect to our prediction markets, and then, you know, they can use them for different things. So we have now teams that are, you know, using KongSwap for liquidations, and others are, there's a lot of aggregators. Spoke to some people who use it just for basically statistics and stuff. So there's, you know, 5 to 10 teams that are already using KongSwap. Some of them interact with us, some of them just use it. But like, yeah, it's nice to have, you know, all these apps connecting to your backend and using the application. So we're not the only ones that need to build this app. So maybe in the future we'll also like just integrate the front ends of these apps into Kong, so we don't have to build everything. You know?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, the fact that it's permissionless is huge. I've built out a few websites in my day, and just trying to get all the stuff for APIs, it's just an extra step, extra hurdles, you know. But yeah, that's great to hear. So, like, what's your next big move for KongSwap?
No, I think it's like just rolling out multi-chain, then integrating more chains. So we want to do Solana first. It was like, you know, like you said, Solana has a lot of volume, a lot of action. So we just wanted to go there. Then we'll expand into Bitcoin. So we're already doing the Bitcoin integrations, then EVM chains, probably SUI down the line. So this is going to be like the big part of the next couple of months is just going to be integrating more and more chains. Also adding some of the wallets from these ecosystems that we currently don't support. So we support the wallets that people use from those ecosystems. So whenever you come onto Kong, there should be something and feel comfortable with. So it's not like you have to, I know this new wallet that I have to try out and learn. And then basically just connect with these ecosystems and try to grow liquidity, grow user base, bring in some cool new products. So besides prediction markets, we're also working on some really, really cool earn products that will be quite advanced but simple to use at the end of the day. That's like from a technical delivery roadmap what we got.
Yeah. I also want to kind of backpack on what Goro said earlier about the projects that are connecting on the back end. Like some of these projects that are getting integrated in the Kong right now, we won't say what they are, but there's some big names that are coming in the future and everything. And I think this is something we're definitely going to be leaning to heavy, and like something I've been kind of working on specifically is like finding the projects in other ecosystems like Bitcoin DeFi and Solana, et cetera, that are hot and that we can get integrated in with, because it's not even just about what we can do on our own platform. It's also like, once again, there's a project that's going to be working with us for the liquidations, and they're going to be running through the Kong pools. That gives Kong volume. And it's going to be done on a completely separate dApp. So kind of going for all those kind of things, like we're trying to be integrated in as many places as possible. We're trying to have everyone connected in the Kong in some sort of way. And that's like something we're really, 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 getting into, because I think that's really a big part of the way you kind of get into other ecosystems and get into, other liquidity, is you got to just have them connect to your project. And because we're multi-chain, it's very attractive to, I think, a lot of projects, whether in Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, whatever, they're all able to use our platform, which is going to benefit, the platform and KongSwap immensely. And we also have some other things that are like cool that are coming. I don't know, Goros, did you touch on the Predict AI and that?
Yeah, that's sort of like the Predict AI is going to be in the earn feature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. And we're also, working on a couple other like DeFi mini games in the background as well. But really, we're just trying to do as much as possible when it comes to like bringing new eyes to KongSwap. And I am really bullish on the integrations that are coming to KongSwap, on the projects that are integrating with KongSwap. I think those are going to be, we have I think when it comes to like, real catalysts for Kong, like coming up, I think it's like the Crosschain going on. I think it's the projects that are integrating, which I think is, in my opinion, maybe the most bullish thing we have coming up, some of the projects that are integrating. And then of course, the prediction markets and the mini games we have that have, seen good demand. And I think we'll continue to see even more and more demand as we keep building on it. So.
Yeah, no, it all sounds great, guys. I mean, I've been super bullish from the first time I ever used Kong, and its infancy. I was just absolutely hooked, and it's come a long way since you guys launched. So, I mean, I think that we got a bright future ahead of us for KongSwap, and it's really cool to hear how you guys are talking about, expanding and connecting with all these other apps and things like that on these other chains. And at the end of the day, it'll all come back to KongSwap.
Well, once we get this multi-chain set up properly, right, you will really be able to do things on Kong that you cannot do anywhere else. So just imagine, like, you log into Kong and you'll be able to trade Solana for Bitcoin, right? But not like some wrapped version of Bitcoin, but the real thing, and you'll get it in your wallet. So the only other place where you probably can do this is on Binance and Kraken. Everything else will be either a bridge in between or some, wrapped version of Bitcoin that you will need to then find a way to unwrap again to get to the real thing. So, and that's going to be done in like, trading is going to be fast, super nice, efficient. Like we like to say, user experience built by humans for humans. So not just, the user experience where, you scratch your eyes out to get something done, but just having like a nice, easy onboarding for everyone.
Yeah. And when you think about the future, it's like, you know, when you talk about it, it's like, okay, you can only do that on like Kraken or Binance. They're obviously KYC, we're non-KYC. And once again, I believe we will have a more superior user experience. You know, you can imagine in the future, you know, in the future, if we had a Kong app or something, it's like you would just go on your phone, click the Kong app, make your swap from Solana to, you know, Bitcoin, done, you know, very, very quickly. And just, you know, not having those hurdles that Kraken and Binance, et cetera, have.
And we're almost at the same level of speed that they are now.
Yeah.
It's like a big trouble in getting things.
And I also think like when it comes to decentralized exchanges, like if you take a look at, you know, DEX volume versus SEX volume, DEXs are starting to crush centralized exchanges in volume. Because when you really think about it, it's and CZ even sees this. This is why CZ started to pump BNB earlier this year, because he knows, he's like, holy shit, you know, these DEXs are really starting to eat at Binance's volume. So I need to start promoting PancakeSwap, which is the BSC DEX. And he's, you know, he's changed up his bio. If you look at his bio on X, he's put Binance BSC like enthusiast in there, like at the very front, which is like, you know, obviously showing that, hey, he's waking up to the fact that, you know, I need to be promoting our DEX a lot more than we were before. Because I think decentralized exchanges are the future. I don't see a world where people are going to want to come on to Coinbase. I mean, Coinbase and Kraken and Binance, they have their monopoly and they have their big money. Yeah. I think the future is like, and kind of Phantom and Jupiter have proved this, where it's like people really just want to go on and trade as quickly as possible. And like in the future, you'll be able to do those things, and Kong will, you know, have a, you know, a unique experience to that no one else can offer, and make it as easy as possible and as seamless as possible for the user. I guess if you enjoy KongSwap, make sure to go follow us on X at KongSwapX. You can trade at KongSwap at kongswap.io, and join our Telegram or open chat if you have any feedback on the platform or anything. And also, if you like, you know, there's a lot of demand. If you have a good idea or you think something should be changed differently, you spot something that needs to be fixed, make sure to go in the Telegram or the open chat. And, you know, let us know, because we listen to the users. We ultimately want to do what the people want. So if there's enough demand for something, we're going to go and do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. And you guys are absolutely killing it. Like I've been saying, best DEX I've used in the whole entire eco to date. I mean, it just works every day, all the time. So, I mean, and that's, you know, saying that is crazy. It's like, because like half the, I don't want to call the other, you know, the other exchanges like trash, but yeah, at the end of the day, the experiences, you know, I haven't experienced that with KongSwap. So for everybody watching, thank you, and check out KongSwap. I'll pin a link in the description and the comment. Pick up a bag of Kong. Not financial or trading advice, but it is what it is. So we'll see you in the next video.